Now, what we can look for, I don't know if it's going to give it to us, but for the last trade of the day, could possibly look something like this, right? On a 1 minute time frame, let's find liquidity on a 1 minute, right? So we got liquidity here. We don't know how much liquidity we're going to take, but on a 5 minute, what we do know is that we want our stop loss to at least be right here at the bottom of this gap right here, right? Because this is going to act as a breakaway gap. So we want it to be at our stop loss to at the very least be at the bottom. If we're going to go real safe, then it will have to be all the way down here with these 2 order blocks, right? And then we're going to possibly be looking for a trade like this going into the afternoon session, all right? But we need it to be at least a 1 to 3, right? So the risk to reward ratio is going to determine what type of entry I'm looking for. So we're going to look for that for a potential buy. Now, obviously, if I believe that the market could possibly come back this far, which I think it could, I'm going to go on a 1 minute time frame and start looking for a potential sell, right, to go into this level. So I'm probably just going to take a sell right now, honestly, right? It's always better to wait for confirmation, but what I'm thinking is that I could possibly use this swing high as a stop loss and then target down here, right? So that's a 1 to 2, almost a 1 to 3, right? Obviously, it's better to wait for confirmation, but I'm trying to see, and I'm going to try this sell out right here. So I just got in right there. I'm going to try this sell, see if we can get, at the bare minimum, a little scalp going back down, right? I may be too early. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to come up here, sweep out this liquidity, touch the midpoint of the new week opening gap first, but just wanted to take an early entry just in case we get a random candle that wants to come all the way down here and give us some quick profits. I'm going to take that off the table as soon as possible. So I'm gonna put a yellow line on my chart, you guys, so I can show y'all where I'm possibly looking to trail my stop. So I have my stop resting right here where this yellow line is at so far, as this trade is slowly going into profits. You know, I don't really want to get too fancy. I know this is still counter trend, right? We have a little gap down here on a 1 minute time frame. Price could just very well want to, you know, come down here, touch this little order block and just keep going higher, right? So I'm going to be trying to move my stop into profits like as soon as possible, right? So we was in profits right there for a split second. Then it came back up to our entry. So we're just at break even right now on this trade. Right, we're going to make sure that we're aware of our range on a 1 minute time frame. So this is why I have my stop right here, because you guys can see this is right at the discount zone right here. So if we get to this level, I want to move my stop into profits like immediately, because I don't know if it's going to have a reaction and come up here and sweep up this liquidity up here, right? Or maybe it goes up here and sweep this liquidity first, right? We don't know. We really don't know what's going to happen. Right, we're only risking about 0.5% on this trade, by the way. Pretty much what I made earlier is what I'm risking. All right, so I got my stop loss right here where this yellow line is at. And right now, I got it moving right here. So it just dipped below. I'm looking to pretty much confirm that right there. If it goes a little bit lower, I don't want to get stopped out too early. So I'm going to confirm that right there. I might get stopped out right here. My stop loss is literally right here, you guys. So I may get stopped out. Just got stopped out right there. So that was, you know, quick trade for a small profit. I wanted it to go lower, but like I said, you guys, I was taking an early entry. So that's pretty much a nice little scalp right there. But, you know, I knew that I was early, and I know that price could still want to come up here and sweep this swing high right here on a 1 minute time frame. All right, so I told you guys I was moving that. See how on a 1 minute time frame, these candles are rejecting away from this area. So we don't want to be too early, right? We know that we're still looking for buys. I'm just getting a little impatient right here, and I'm looking for sales, right? But we definitely want to be looking for a buy. We're just pretty much selling off of this 5 minute wick right here, you guys. Right? We're not selling off of this 5 minute wick alone, right? But, you know, we're selling off of this new day opening gap. We're selling off of this new week opening gap, but we're using the wick as well on all time frames. And then on a 1 minute time frame, you know, we're just pretty much waiting for prices start rolling down to the downside. So far, we're 2 for 2. Like I told you guys, you know, I am down on my funded account. All right, let me see if I can get that on there for y'all. All right, so I am down overall on my funded account, but so far for this session, we're up $640 on our funded account. So, you know, we've been funded for almost 3 months. It's been a struggle. We did get one payout, but it's been a struggle to get that second payout. I've been up for the most part. This is the most I've been down on my funded account since I've had it. So, you know, it happens. All we can do now is like lower our risk and try to, you know, scalp everything until we can get this account back at least to break even. Then when we get it back to break even, we can trade it how we normally trade it. Maybe start using a little bit more risk, you know, maybe instead of 0.5%, we can use, you know, 0.75%, you know, or maybe something closer to a percent. But this is how I pretty much try to protect my account when I'm in down draw, right? It's nothing wrong with being in down draw. We have emotional weeks, right? A lot of us are trying to work and trade at the same time, right? I see a lot of people just like me, truck drivers on the road trying to trade, right? I mean, it happens, right? Sometimes you go into down draw. It's not the end of the world. You know, it doesn't define you as a trader. You just have to try to, you know, work past that, right? So it looked like we're not going to really pull back as much as I want, to be honest with you guys. It looked like this breakaway gap right here on a 1 minute time frame is going to be respected. Just this little yellow zone. But if it don't give me the pullback that I want, then there's nothing I can do. I want it to come all the way down here. That's about 100 points to the downside. It's definitely possible that it can happen. You know, we have a range on a 5 minute time frame, right? This yellow line right here is our discount, right? So everything that's down here within this zone, right, is our discount. So we're looking for the market to pull back down here. That's why I was taking the sell, but it don't have to do that, right? When the market is very bullish, all of these gaps can get left open, and then it could just keep going for liquidity, right? But the reason why I was taking my sell is because, and this is an ICT gem right here, you guys, looking at the new day opening gap, right? Remember I told you guys, right, we're going to likely sweep this liquidity and hit the new week opening gap, right? When I was in that sale, I was telling you guys this is something that I was worried about, sweeping this liquidity right here, hitting the midpoint of that new week opening gap. But notice how these bodies are closing on a 1 minute time frame, right? That is the key takeaway you should be thinking about if you're learning ICT concepts. Remember, I was trying to sell down here, right, off of this 2 minute fair value gap. But when this body closed above the midpoint of that 2 minute fair value gap, that told me immediately that the sales are not in place, right?